Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a new year and a new episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. As always, Kelly Cook is joining us today. Kelly, how was your Christmas? How was your holidays?
Great question. It was good. It was good outside of the fact at my hotel, we were traveling for the holidays. We got our back window smashed out and our luggage stolen. Well, only one luggage, only one piece. Yeah.
That's crazy. That sucks.
Yeah, that sucked.
But well, I'm glad that everybody was okay. We had not a similar experience at all. I was going to say ours was great, except all my kids got influenza over New Year's Eve. So I was in bed by 9:30. So that was fun. But well, luggage stolen, sick kids. It was still a good holiday season.
Merry Christmas
for both of us. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was good. What a change for the world is awesome.
Yes, perfect.
And now it's time to get back on the grind.
Yes, we're back into it. We had our good merry times, and now it's like I said, it's a new year. It's a time to really hit the ground running. And I know that a lot of you were probably making a lot of New Year's resolutions over this past couple of weeks. Maybe hitting the gym more often, drinking more water, reading more books, whatever it may be. But regardless of what your goals were, I'm sure that you were doing a lot of self-reflection during making those goals. Kind of figuring out what you want to do, but in that, and this is something that you probably don't think about when you're setting those goals, but is why? Why are these your goals? For me, mine was go to the gym more often. But why? Well, because, I probably should be working out. But what's the why for me, the intrinsic value for it, right? You have to think about those things as well.
That's right.
Just as with setting goals for your business. It's not just, well, because I think I need to, make this amount of money this year, but why? What's the reason behind that? Because that'll really fuel you to get to the next step. So
yeah,
that's what we're talking about today. We're tying it all into the new year. And Kelly, let's get into it. Let's get into your motivational new year talk here.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I think self-reflection is huge, right? I think self-reflection is something that you have to do on a continual basis. You have to always be evaluating why you're doing what you're doing. And the why is huge, right? The why is huge. We talk about the big why all the time. But, without going into some fancy speech, TED talk about your big why and what is it and get in tune with it, just sometimes much, much smaller. Like why? Why are you choosing the goals you choose? Now, obviously, it's the new year, right? It's time to make new goals, right? Why? Well, because everyone does it, right? And it's this calendar cycle that we all run off of. But the reality is, you don't have to make goals, but you should. And there's all the stats about, goals are so much more, opt to be achieved if you do have a why and they're written down, right? And you actually can set tasks and things to do to an action plan to actually achieve the goal. But why are you making the goal the goal? What's the reason? Is it because someone else is doing it and it sounds cool? Or because maybe you read it in a book, on a podcast like this,
somebody said you should do it. You said,
someone
okay.
said you should do it. Okay, fine, I'll do it. Right. But be yourself, right? Be yourself. What's the reason you get out of bed every single day? And, some people's financial thermostats aren't as high as others, and that's okay. Right. Some people is fine. They're fine making $30,000 a year, because that's their financial thermostat. And they might say, it's not, right? They might say they have to make $80,000 a year, but the reality is their actions prove otherwise, right? Their actions prove that no matter how much you business plan and game plan for the ability to make, $80,000 a year or whatever the number is, the reality is if you only make 30, you're making 30 because that's your financial thermostat. That's where you're set in your actions and the way you do things, because you're fine with that. Clearly, if you're making $30,000 a year, you're able to survive. You're paying your bills, you're doing something, because if you couldn't, you would change your ways. Otherwise, you'd be on the streets. And that's when people get real with their goals, right? I mean, at the end of the day, there's this video about this guy. It's very, very popular on YouTube, right? You know, a lot of people use it for motivational aspects, but you know, this guy talks about, he has this video of people running on the beach and working out and doing all these crazy things. But the audio overlaid on the video is amazing, because what he talks about, and this guy is, you know, you picture like a drill sergeant or someone just being very motivational on video or on audio. But what he talks about is, you don't know what it's like to succeed, and you won't be successful, or as successful maybe as you think you could be, until you want to succeed as much as you want to breathe. Now think about that for a second, right? Someone's choking you, or you're choking on a piece of food that you swallowed and you can't get the air. You will do whatever it takes to make sure you get that next breath, right? Whatever it takes. And so if that's the case, why would we not look at our goals and what we want to achieve the same way? Well, you're not going to if you're not in tune with it. You're not going to if you choose the goal because someone else thought it was cool, because someone else is doing it, because you read it in a book. You have to get in tune with what your actions are, all right, and with what your goals truly are that you want to set forth and achieve, because it doesn't matter what someone else is thinking. Stop comparing your insides to someone's outsides. And that's the message, right? The self-reflection is huge, especially at the beginning of a year. But set goals that are realistic for what it is that you truly are sold out and committed to achieve. And if your financial thermostat is at 30 because maybe last year you said you're going to make 80, but you made 30, and nothing's changed in your lifestyle, and you're fine with that, then that's what you should game plan for, right? $30,000, because and be sold out to that, because that's clearly when the rubber meets the road, when it's a rainy, cold day and you don't want to get out of bed, that's what you're going to get out of bed for, the 30,000, not the 80, because 30,000 you can survive on. Now, maybe you don't like it. You would like to have that nicer car or that nicer house or whatever it is. But the reality is like your actions prove that you're not going to change to achieve that. So just have it be what it is and be okay with that. And by the way, at the end of the day, people take these big goals that people have, and you put them all over social media, and it sounds great and all this stuff, right? And a lot of these goals come with, you know, owning my own business or running my own real estate team, right? And having, you know, all these things going on, people reporting to me and blah, blah, blah. And that sounds great in a post. But the reality is not everyone's cut out for that. And so if you don't want that extra risk, if you don't want that extra responsibility, because guys, let me tell you something, in a market like this that we're experiencing right now, it's not easy, and it's for the thick-skinned, because obviously we all know that when good times are good, that's great. But when bad times are bad, they're additionally bad, right? It's like the quarterback of a football team, right? Man, he gets way too much praise when, you know, the team wins. He also probably takes too much of the blame when they lose, right? So, you know, that being said, if you are an entrepreneur, if you are a integrator, if you're someone who likes to work on systems and implement them or execute them, COO types, right? That kind of thing, then know thyself and be free, right? I think I want to say, who is it in the E-Myth Revisited? Michael Gerber, I think he says that, right? Know thyself and be free. Be who you are. Don't try to be someone you're not, because ultimate happiness will be found in that goal and that job and that responsibility of who you naturally are, right? Don't try to be someone you're not. And if you're not that CEO type, that's okay. You can make social media posts. You can tell the world about how great being in operations is, or administrative, functions. Because by the way, that visionary, the entrepreneur, can't succeed without it. It needs both, right? And so if you don't believe me, read the book Rocket Fuel by Gino Wickman, because he talks about the visionary and the integrator role. And when they mix together, it's a beautiful thing. And that's rocket fuel, right? You go to the moon. But a lot of times that integrator thinks they're the CEO, the visionary too, right? The entrepreneur, and they're really not at the core. But for some reason, they've been taught that that's the only thing that looks cool. That's the only way to make it.
That's how you measure success.
That's how you measure success. Exactly. And that's just a fallacy, because that's not who you are. And if you then take your talents of being operationally minded and match them with that visionary, that's rocket fuel, right? And that's where something special happens. And if you look at any successful company, across the board, that's what it is, right? Every single company that's a successful CEO guarantee you, if you don't know about the person, they're there. The integrator is there. The COO is there. The operations director is there, probably just behind the curtains. Look at Steve Jobs with Apple, right? I mean, I think this is kind of heavily documented, but Steve Wozniak was the operation. He was the brains behind it. In fact, he was the one that actually thought of and executed on a lot of the products that we all like and use today with Apple. Jobs gets all the credit, but because he was the visionary, he had the ideas and all that stuff, right? And
He
of
was
course,
the face of
he was the
it,
face,
yeah.
right? Yeah, but Wozniak was a lot, in many ways, the brains. And so be the brains. And by the way, if you're Steve Wozniak and you're number, whatever, 3 or 4 in Apple at the time behind Steve and maybe someone else, you did okay.
Yeah.
Right. But if you were going out there trying to be the CEO when you're not, because that's what you think the world is looking for and thinks is the only thing that's cool, Steve Wozniak would be probably just like every other person right now and would not be who he is today with the bank account he does have today. So anyways, that's the message for 2023 that I'm trying to get out to the real estate community, right? That's the message that we want people to hear, that it's going to be a challenging market, at least for the first half of this year. Okay. So you have to do more than you ever did before. It's a shifting market. You have to double down, but set your goal appropriately to what it is you truly are sold out and committed to achieve. That's
and
the goal.
Suits with your abilities, your aptitudes, what suits you best. So that's where it kind of comes in, that self-reflection. Maybe you don't know all of that yet. Maybe you don't know what you are best at, but this year, and especially this month, this first, as your goal setting, make sure that you really take some personality tests, do
Take
some self-reflection, find out what really are your greatest aptitudes and, what it is that you are going to commit to and you really, really want to achieve, and make sure those two align, because you're going to be a lot more able to hit those goals if those two things align. And I think there's another good analogy. I don't know it exactly, so I'm going to spitball here, but you can't judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree or something like that. It's a good analogy.
I'm stealing that one.
Because fish aren't meant to climb trees. They're meant to swim. That doesn't mean they're a bad fish, but they're not good for climbing trees. And so I think that kind of everything that Kelly said can kind of go into that, right? It's your goals are not going to be the same as somebody else's, and that's okay. That does not mean that you are less successful or they're more successful or vice versa, but it's what goal is right for you. So
yeah, I love that. What goal is right for you? That's the question to ask yourself, right? And don't do it based upon what other people in your company are doing or team are doing or what someone thinks you should do, a coach, a leader, whoever, right? Instead, ask discovery questions, right? About yourself. They should be asking you questions, not telling you what to do. They should be asking questions so that you self-discover what it is that or how you're made up, so that you can get the appropriate goals for your personality type, right? Because that's where you're ultimately going to be the most happy. And then if you're the most happy doing that, honestly, the money will come. Mm-hmm. It will come. It just may take a little while, because anything worthwhile is hard.
Gotta nurture it.
And takes a little time. Gotta nurture it. Just like that database, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, perfect. So we all hope that your New Year's are getting started off right. You are picking great goals. If one of your goals, after you have done self-reflection, of course, you've self-reflected and you thought that, you really want to start your own real estate team, and that is a good goal for you, please go on over to buildyourrealestateteam.com and check out Kelly's full kind of plan on how to do that. He went through it. He made all the mistakes so that you don't have to. Please go check that out, download it. And other than that, we will see you for another episode next week.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. And as always, my cell phone number, stay the same. You can always text or call at 480-227-2028.
Oh, sorry, Kelly. I thought you weren't taking any calls this year.
No, double the calls, please.
Double the calls, guys. Come on. All right. Perfect. And Kelly, where can they email you?
Oh, yeah. info@cookandassociates.az.arizona.com.
Perfect. And we will see you guys next time. Bye, Kelly. Happy New Year.
Thanks, Elizabeth. Happy New Year to you guys.
Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.